Stu here with Raid Shadow Legends. We're going to be looking over Dark Aethel. Everybody just got her as a 90... Well, everybody that's been playing for a long time, 90 days, just got her as a 90-day login. It's not even around anymore because I got the last one. So we just picked her up. Let's go and look at her main... Let's look at her overall stats really quick. See what she's about. Now, we could just go and summarize, or at least guess what kind of champion she's going to be, but she's really unique. So I wanted to bring her to 60, even though I'm not going to be playing her. I knew I wouldn't be playing her. She looks really cool. She has really low HP, good attack and defense, and speed is fine. So what do we have here? We have attack one enemy, 50% chance to place a 60% decrease defense. This is really good. It's a good skill. This one, AoE, lowers 75% chance to do a speed decrease of 30%. That also sounds really good. Both of them sound really good. This one is, they're both, so she has two AoEs on a 4-turn cooldown. This one, if you kill 4 or more enemies, she'll get a speed increase of 30%, which is funny to me because you're not going to kill 4 or more enemies in any in-game content. It's just not going to happen very often at all unless you have a crazy setup, and then even then on auto, the next wave it's not going to happen as well, and on spiders, this is not going to happen. And heals the champion by 50% of their max HP if you kill 6 or more enemies. Get an extra turn if you kill 10 or more enemies. You should get an extra turn if you kill 3 or more enemies probably with her, and it's still people probably wouldn't play her. So let's get into her. I ran her in Dragons, I ran her in Minotaur, I ran her in Golem, I ran her in Spiders, of course, so we could see what Spiders all about, right? And I ran her in PvP. These skills do not hit harder than any other skills you've seen on any of my other champions. So let's get into her gear. Let me show you so we can see it all, because she's not like... If I was doing a review on War Maiden down here, this girl right here, this Rare, where is she at? Where is she at? If I was doing a review on her, which has an AoE decrease defense of 60% right here, once you have it, we could say that she's exactly like Zargala and that she will function like Zargala. And we could be like, okay, let's do a review. And I wouldn't even need to take her to 6-star to show you. I would just say, hey, if you have her, do her just like Zargala and she will perform the same exact way. And they're even both force. So that is true. But Dark Aethel is a little bit different. So I wanted to test her out myself. I wanted to see also what we could do to maybe get Polarium to improve her, since it's a 90-day login for everybody, and see where we're at with it. So let's go over her artifacts, what I have on her right now. Here is this. I've got a lot of speed, I've got a lot of crit, and I got a lot of crit damage, of course. Here we go. There we are. And then we've got crit damage neck and accuracy banner, because we do have those debuffs we want to hit. We have the debuffs on the skill 2 and the skill 1, the decreased defense and the slow, the AoE slow, which is in theory pretty nice. An AoE slow, when your team is very fast and you have boosts, it's nice to have. So I know my head was covering her total stats, but right here are her total stats, so don't worry about where my head was a minute ago. Here they are. So this is her total stats, 60 without any improvements. And then over here, we've got not a lot of HP. We have good attack, same attack as I have on my Zargala right now, 100% crit and 192 critical damage. Now let's go over here and look at her masteries. I'm not down here to Flawless Execution to get more crit damage or War Master. I just have this on her. But this is what I would do. If it takes a lot. Now remember, I only do this for us so we can make videos and that we can see how these people perform. I'm not going to use this champion. There's a lot of champions that I've taken to 6-star that I don't use because I have teams for 20 of everything. You know, I have my set teams. I don't need to bring any of these other champions in here, but I do it so we can, you know, have some fun with the game. It is really the only thing that I have fun with the game doing, is making these champions and trying them out. So here we are. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't spend any energy trying to get her masteries done, because it takes so much energy for it. So if I were to do her masteries, I would do them exactly the same as Zargala. I would go down here and either get Flawless Execution, or I would go and get War Master, because War Master hits the big spider for like 140k or something like that, depending on what debuffs you have up. So I would either go for those two, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. I would pick all this stuff. I would probably pick also bring it down, increase damage by 6% when a target has higher max HP than you, because anything in PvE will have higher max HP than you. All the bosses, all the waves, the higher waves, stage 20s will have higher max HP. So you'd be good to go there. And then I would go over here, and this one, my head's covering up, Sniper, 5% additional for her debuffs, which is good because her skill 1 only has a 50% chance and her skill 2 only has like a 75% chance for the slow speed on her AoE. So this will help out as well. So this is the route I would go exactly with Dark Aethel's masteries. And that is it. That's all I've got for her. Let's get into some let's get into it and see some dragons, some ice golem, some spider, and I even did PvP, but her PvP hits hit exactly the same. We're bringing her in here as lead to get the 20% additional increased attack, decrease defense on them, 15% additional damage from Bad L's poisons from his passive. It does work on anybody that hits in the team, and that's it. That's all we got. So she's not her skill 3, her skill 2 does not hit harder than anybody else I've ever tested out in here the same exact way. It just doesn't. She does decrease defense on her skill 1, so if you really had to, if you didn't have anybody else to decrease defense for dragons and you wanted to bring her in here for that, you could. You could bring in Zargala, or you could bring in War Maiden, which is a rare, and do an AoE 3-turn decrease defense and do just as much damage on her 3-turn AoE as you do on Aethel's 4-turn AoEs here. So again, she is not the only thing she's doing here right now, especially on the boss, because AoE doesn't do a lot of damage on the boss. Anybody that you have with AoE, massive AoE, still doesn't do tremendous amount of damage on bosses like this. And her skill 1 does okay, but again, her skill 1 hits just as hard as anybody else's skill 1, and her other 2 AoEs hit just as hard as anybody else's AoEs. And you got to use a lot of epic books to get it from a 5-turn to a 4-turn cooldown. They could even drop her to a 3-turn cooldown on both her AoEs, and she still would be, maybe then people would want to level her up some more. Maybe then. Because she does have a good decreased defense, and she does have the AoE slow. That one, her skill 2, could definitely be on a 3-turn cooldown. Would help her out a lot. Still wouldn't help her in spiders, unfortunately, but it still would help her a lot everywhere else in the game. You could comfortably maybe level her up then. Use her here. Use her, you know, unless your account is completely free to play, you don't have a lot of options. There are still other rare options. Like we just talked about War Maiden. Even though Dark Aethel is magic, there are a lot of starting champions that are great as well. So I don't know. We're going to see here after this fight. We're going to go into Spiders 20. We'll check her out and get a little bit more into what she was actually built for. What she was made for, right? Because we know she was made for spiders. We know she was specifically made for spiders because of her skill 3, for sure. So she should excel there and do really well there. Also on the boss here, and a lot of bosses in the game, her AI is just like a lot of other people's AI. She will not AoE here, which would actually be very beneficial because she could AoE and do the decreased speed and get decreased speed up on the side champions and the main boss, which would probably help out. But instead, all she did was single target there the whole time and do decreased defense, which is still decent, but you know, we could have that covered, and we had Terrell in there, we could have that covered. So what we're going to do is we're going to decrease defense, we're going to do the poison again, so we're going to have 60% decreased defense, poisons up 15% additional damage, and see what her big hitter does. Where if she kills 4 or more, she gets 30% speed increase. If she kills 6 or more, 10 or more, none of that stuff's ever going to happen. There you go. Didn't even bring them down to half life. That's it. Didn't even bring them down to half life. So that is Dark Aethel. Now, Plarium, if you're watching this, or if anybody else wants to talk to Plarium about it, I really wish they'd rework her. I want her to be the help that people need in spiders. If you're not going to retune spiders, which spiders really needs a retune for the average player. For the average player, spiders 20 and even lower spiders is way too difficult. The spider heals way too much here, and wait for too much health and way too often on a 2-turn cooldown or whatever it is. It is way too often, way too much. You have to control the spiders. Dropping the turn meter of the big spider is the most favorable thing to do as well. The only way people do this in 20 is to cheese it out with counterattack and with cold hearts. And then if they have mad, crazy legendaries, they bring in Biggin and Ignatius, other AoE people, even Nithril with his AoE. They bring in all those big AoE legendary champions and they just mow it down. That is a different story. For the average player out there that wants to play this game, that doesn't have all those selection of champions, spiders really needs to be tuned. And if it's not tuned, because I mean, look at this. I brought in, obviously this isn't my normal team that I auto spiders with, but I brought this in just to show you what Dark Aethel could do, right? With a team, with everybody that's geared massively, they all have massive gear. We've got a legendary, we've got this one that's geared toward doing spiders, and this is what happens. This is it. Spider's going to heal back completely. Our people are dying. This is what happens in spiders, and this is kind of, it's depressing for a lot of players out there because they're trying to progress in the game. They're up to Dragons 20. They're up to even Golems 20, Fire Knight 19, but they're way down in Spiders 15 because they cannot get past it because it is so overtuned. It needs to be balanced. The heal component to her really could go away, and whatever else you want to do. But Dark Aethel, we could increase her damage here. We could put a passive on Dark Aethel to increase her damage by 100% in the Spider's Den or 50% in the Spider's Den. That way she wouldn't be overpowered in all other aspects of the game. We could lower her skill 2 to a 3-turn cooldown instead of a 4-turn cooldown. Then she'd have a skill 2 at a 3-turn cooldown, a skill 4 at a 4-turn cooldown maxed out. Would help out a lot. And that additional damage then wouldn't, you know, go over into other things like Arena or Dragons or Ice Golems. It would only be for when she goes into Spider's Den. That passive that she could have added on to all her skills, 50% additional damage in Spider's Den would help out a lot, I think. So, I don't know. That's Dark Aethel. As you know, like I said, I always do this just to try these out because she is a whole total beast. I wanted to just show her to you guys so you can make up your mind and see what you want to do with your 90-day login when you get her. But that's it. Let me know your comments. Let me know what you think about her. Do you think that she's better than I'm saying? Do you think I'm right with what I'm saying? Could she be improved? And what could we do to improve her? Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all your support. I will see you all in the next video.